Education Plus is an organization I created to promote equity in the local education sector. As students at UCSB, we have all been privileged with the opportunity to obtain quality higher level education, something less than half the American population gets the chance to do. Working in the education field through various experiences, I noticed great disparity in small groups of children. In the kindergarten class I volunteered in Goleta, some students were reading chapter books and some could not even read their own name. I wanted to get to the heart of the problem. Educational equity refers to all children, regardless of their background, race, socioeconomic status, or zip code, receiving the same level of education, resources, and opportunities. Unfortunately, in today's society, students of color or low income students face significant barriers in accessing the same level of education as their peers. Furthermore, in relation to the environment, climate change, which is an only growing concern, will disproportionately affect low income students and their families. The lack of climate change education present in primary schools, not only for students, but for their families, is hurtful and alarming. Without reworking the entire US education system, which is filled with systemic racism and injustices, how could we fix this problem? So I set out to create Education Plus, an organization aimed at subsidizing in class education for free in order to help students that are falling behind get back on track, learn about the world around them, and gain relevant skills, thereby increasing their chances of staying on grade level and succeeding in the future. My mountaintop goal is to implement Education Plus across all college campuses to serve communities across the United States. My SMART goal for my project was to provide free tutoring and enrichment services to 15 to 20 students and lead 3 environmental workshops in Goleta, California by the spring of 2024. So, what did we accomplish since January? I first assembled a team and then interviewed and accepted undergraduate UCSB students as volunteers for our organization. In total, we currently have 60 volunteers continuing with us into next school year. I then advertised our programs in both Spanish and English. I created an Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn account for our organization. We have accumulated 370 followers on Instagram and in the last 30 days reached 3,100 accounts. We offered our tutoring services and other programs in both 100% Spanish and English from 3 to 9 p.m. every day of the school week. By providing tutoring services remotely, parents did not have to worry about transportation. As of right now, we have provided tutoring services to over 40 kids ranging from preschool age to 8th grade. We have tutored several students to pass their English fluency test in order to be able to continue in traditional classes, and many bilingual students who were falling behind in reading comprehension who are doing much better now. Oftentimes, in the traditional classroom setting, it's hard to give these students the support they need when English is not their first language. By supplementing in class instruction with our tutoring services, we are able to help close this gap. After the success of our tutoring program, we expanded to host 2 more programs, Code Explorers and Environmental Explorers. Code Explorers is an introduction to computer, digital literacy, and coding. For our first 10-week session, we had 15 students enrolled in the hour-long course. Code Explorers meets weekly on Wednesday nights on Zoom for 10 weeks as students learn technological language, practice creating their own artwork through code, and engage in interactive activities. The students never fail to impress us. The kids join our weekly sessions eager to show off their homework of working on their own coding project, and this week began to do their own coding in Python. In the pictures, you can see the before and after of a student debugging his code with us at the end of class. Environmental Explorers meets roughly bi-weekly at Gersh Park in Goleta on Sunday mornings. Kids in the park have the opportunity to come by our table and engage in different environmental lessons, arts and crafts, and physical activities. Some recent environmental workshops we held were a scavenger hunt of fun facts on endangered species, a lesson on separating recycling, trash, and compost, and then creating our own reusable tote bags, and a gardening lesson where kids were able to paint their own pots, plant their own seed, and bring their plant home. Our Environmental Explorers has attracted a younger audience, and we have loved seeing the genuine happiness the program brings to all the kiddos. Combined, Environmental Explorers has worked with over 50 kids. They make meaningful and creative observations. One preschooler said during our endangered species lesson, "Wow, endangered species are like Olaf. We have to protect them or else they might melt." We would have never thought of it that way, and I feel like I'm learning just as much from them as they are learning from me. This coming summer, I will be conducting research on climate change education with one of the education professors at UCSB and hope to learn relevant information to apply to our environmental explorers as it continues throughout next school year. It will be held 4 times a quarter through the 2024 to 2025 school year. I have learned so much about what it means to be a leader. I think this project truly ignited a spark in me and has pushed me on my journey of working towards more equitable education. I've never felt so passionate about something, and that has allowed me to share my passion with others. I've realized it's important that every volunteer not just does so for service hours, but understands why we are doing it. I have learned to delegate, that not everything can be or will be perfect, and that the process is just as important as the end result. Some skills I found valuable that I gained throughout this process were networking, communication, always sending the email, staying organized and persistent, and being confident in my abilities. Before this class, I may have hesitated to reach out to someone who I didn't know or randomly call or email an organization I hope to work with. Now, I feel confident in doing so and never hesitate to reach out to individuals or organizations who I feel would help Education Plus succeed and grow. Furthermore, I've learned to stay persistent through the no's and keep working until a yes. I've learned great communication with my leadership team and keeping everything organized. All of this has made me more confident in my skills as a leader and as a person. We plan on adding a Spanish course and are working on becoming a SEAL registered club with UCSB for the coming year. Our Spanish course will run similarly to the coding class, once a week for roughly 45 minutes to an hour. We've had great demand for this throughout the school year. Furthermore, I'm working on creating a website so that the registration for all of our programs and information can be found in one place and the process can be streamlined. I am so happy I went through this class because I have not only learned about myself as a leader, but as a person and where my values lie. I'm endlessly grateful to Kathy King for her mentorship and help throughout this process, and Professor Pulver and Professor Zolet for their inspiration and education. I cannot wait to continue this project into next year and see how it can continue to grow. Thank you.